Guelph just posted its highest inventory level in years. Sales are down almost 20% from last June, and sellers are still pricing their homes like it's 2022. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Guelph or Wellington County, the June numbers just came out, and they'll tell you a really specific story about who has the power right now. I'm going to break it all down for you in the next few minutes. So stick around, because whether you're buying or selling, there's something in here that you need to know before you make your next move. Quick intro if you're new here. I'm Andrew Somerville with DNA Homes, and I've been selling real estate in Guelph for over 20 years. And every month I break down exactly what's happening in this market. No fluff, no spin, just what the numbers actually mean for you. If you're relocating to Guelph from the GTA or somewhere else in the province, or even out of the province, I've put together a completely free relocation guide that covers neighborhood commute times and what your money actually buys here. The link's in the description, so grab it, no strings attached. You'll find it really useful. Okay, so let's get into the numbers. Let's start with the big one. In June 2026, Guelph saw 144 residential sales. That's down from 178 sales in June of last year, a drop of just over 19% year over year. Now, sales were also down slightly from May, so this isn't a one-month blip. This is a market that's been cooling off for quite a while now. So what does this actually mean? Fewer transactions means fewer buyers competing for the same homes, and that shift in leverage is the story of this entire report. Here's the number that really jumps out at me. Active listings in Guelph hit 677 in June. That's up 67% from June of last year, where we only had 405 homes on the market. To put that into perspective, we're now sitting at 4.7 months of inventory. Anything under 2 months is typically considered a seller's market. Anything over 4 is a buyer's market. We are firmly, clearly in a buyer's market territory. New listings did drop off from May, down almost 42%, but that hasn't been enough to soak up the backlog. There's just a lot of choice out there right now if you're a buyer. Now let's talk price, because this is where people get the most nervous. The average sales price in Guelph for June was $801,596. Compared to May, that's actually up slightly, but just under 1%. But compared to June of last year, where the average was $826,591, we're down about 3%. Median sales price came in at $775,000, basically flat year over year. Prices are not falling off a cliff. They're softening gradually and stabilizing at a lower level than the peak we saw a couple years back. If you bought recently, this isn't a crash. If you're buying now, you really have room to negotiate. The average days on market in Guelph is now 35 days, and that's up 25% from June of last year, where homes were moving in about 28 days. Now, let me be clear about this. This is not exactly an accurate number, because this also includes homes that were off the market and brought back on the market because they didn't sell. And they often sit from 60 to 90 days at that point. So who knows what the real number is, but the point is that it's a lot. 35 days isn't a disaster. It's still a reasonably active market, but it's a clear signal that buyers aren't rushing. They're taking their time, they're doing their due diligence, and they're not afraid to let a listing sit for a few weeks before making a move. Interestingly, though, the list-to-sale ratio is still sitting at 98.4%. That tells me that sellers who price correctly right out of the gate are still getting close to their full asking. The pain is really concentrating in listings that come out overpriced. And honestly, a lot of sellers are pricing their homes high, leaving room to negotiate. The problem is they have to reduce before they get that chance to negotiate. Detached homes in Guelph averaged 878,000 across 111 sales in June. Condos and townhouses averaged 581,000 across 37 sales, and the condos and townhouse segment has actually been under more pressure lately, with some sources showing apartment and condo prices down over 20% year over year. Detached homes have held up more steadily, only down modestly. If you're an investor or a first-time buyer eyeing the condo market, the softness might actually be your opening. More on that in a minute. Here's what I'm seeing on the ground, and the data backs this up. We're in a bit of a standoff. Buyers have the leverage now, more choice, more time, more room to negotiate, and they know it. They're patient. Sellers, on the other hand, are still anchored to the values from 2 to 3 years ago, and a lot of them just aren't ready to let go of that number yet. And a lot of them don't have to sell. That mismatch is exactly why days on market are stretching and why we're seeing more price adjustments after the fact. The Bank of Canada held its policy rate at 2.25% in June, so borrowing costs aren't the wild card right now. It's really about expectations catching up to reality. If you're a buyer right now, this is one of the most favorable windows we've had in years. You've got 677 homes to choose from in Guelph alone. You have room to negotiate, room to write conditional offers, and you don't need to waive your home inspection to compete. My advice, get pre-approved. Know your numbers and don't be afraid to ask for what you actually want. Sellers are far more open to conversation than they were a few years ago. But here's a tip for you. Don't go too far under because, quite frankly, the sellers will get pissed off and it can backfire. So make sure you know how to negotiate properly and use an agent that knows exactly what to do. And if you're coming from the GTA, this is exactly the kind of market shift that makes relocating to Guelph make even more sense financially. That's what the relocation guide I mentioned earlier is built for. If you're selling, pricing correctly from day one is no longer optional. It's everything. That 98.4 list to sale ratio that I mentioned earlier only holds true for homes priced realistically. Overprice it, and you're looking at a stale listing and a price cut a month in. This is especially relevant if you're a downsizer. I actually covered this in detail in my Riverside Park video. That stretch between Speedville and Woodlawn is one of the best spots in Guelph for downsizers because of the mix of bungalows and its easy access to this trail system and parks. The park I used to disc golf at. Actually, I still do. The dynamic that downsizers are facing right now is real. Your larger home may take a bit longer to sell or need a price adjustment, but you're stepping into a buyer-friendly market on the purchase side too. That's actually an advantage. You can write a conditional offer on your next place instead of scrambling to buy before you sell. If you haven't watched that Riverside Park breakdown yet, I'll link it up above and in the description. So is this market strengthening, weakening, or stabilizing? Honestly, it's stabilizing at a lower level than the peak. Sales are down, inventory is up, prices have softened modestly. I don't see signs of a crash. I see a market resetting towards something more sustainable. Over the next few months, keep an eye on the interest rates and on seller motivation. If more sellers get serious about pricing, we could see that standoff break and sales pick back up. I want to take a moment here and talk about some things that a lot of people are afraid of talking about, and that's the local economics, and specifically related to tariffs. Now, Guelph is exposed quite heavily to the auto industry, and that is affected by tariffs. And quite honestly, people are afraid to buy homes because they're not sure if they're going to have a job in 6 months to a year. There is a ton of demand. People have the money. Interest rates are low enough. The house prices are low enough. People are just waiting. So that's worth noting if you're coming to Guelph from out of area. Well, that's the June 2026 Guelph market update. If you found this helpful, the best next step is to grab my free Guelph relocation guide. The link's right there in the description. It walks you through neighborhoods, pricing, and what to expect if you're making the move to Guelph. And if you're ready to talk specifics about your situation, whether you're buying or selling or downsizing, click the link to book a free call with me directly. My team and I get calls like this every single day, and we genuinely love to help you figure out your next move. If you want to see how this connects to specific neighborhoods, check out my Riverside Park video linked right here. It's a great next watch if downsizing is on your mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month with the July numbers.